Good morning. Good morning. So today, what do we have today? Good morning. Jeff Fuller's in the house. Yes, Jeff, you made the first comment. And who do we have here? Facebook user. Pop off a name there. Joe Rita, how are you feeling today? Adam, are you in there? Hi, Adam. So, what are we going to talk about today? First we're going to keep saying good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Deanna. Oh, Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Cindy, less than a month to go. Joe Rita, you too. Deanna, are you going to make it to Applique Getaway in Irving, Texas this year? It's next month. It'll be a great time. I know Jeff and Adam are going to be there. They're actually teaching. They're going to teach a class. Adam, I don't have any children of my own, but I'm going to be there to support you. You are the man. Oh my goodness. What a week. What a week. What a week. I don't even know where to start. I have a fish tank that's going crazy in its chemistry. That's something new. I'm hoping I have it under control now. Of course, there's always work. Machines have been running all week long, digitizing, because, that's what I do. Answering questions, doing stuff, following you guys around. But hey, listen. Oh, Jorita, that is so awesome. Jorita's been having some back issues lately. So she's on the mend and she will be at Applique Getaway. Yay! All right. What's today's subject? Well, last week we ended and I forgot to ask, but of course Cindy was kind enough to say, what are we going to talk about next week? So, together we came together and we were talking tools. And not just your common tools. We all have scissors and we all have the little screwdriver and our oiler. I want to talk about the uncommon tool. Okay. I know I have 9 of them. I do. And I have, where'd it go? There it is. I have a links list that shows where I purchased each one. Now, you don't have to buy the same one I bought. You don't have to buy any of them. But it's just to give you some ideas of what we're doing. And again, in the comments section, and I'm just going to make sure it's in there. The very first comment before Jeff, sorry, Jeff, I made the first comment, is the links list. And there, like I said, you'll find a place for each and everything. Now, I have this box over here, so I'm going to be dipping out of screen for a moment. I'll be right back. So, here's my first tool. And I know I said we all have scissors, and we do. But do you have teeny tiny applique scissors that will allow you to trim fabric in the hoop? I don't know about you, but I always find that getting the scissors, the great big 5-inch, 8-inch duckbills. I don't know if your comment is, what is this, Jeff? I don't know if your comment is in the running since you are the presenter. Oh, yes, it is. Is it there? If you scroll up, do you find it? All right. You are the first guest comment. We'll give you that. Going back to the scissors. When I do applique and you're trying to cut that fabric while it's still in the hoop, it's so hard because you can't get the scissors in there, and you have to do a little snippy until you get enough room to go in there. These things are only 4 inches. Gosh, I should have had another pair of scissors here just to show. But they're 4 inches. They are amazing. I love them. I love them. These go on the wall of do not touch these scissors. So that's my first tool. Before I forget, because you know I will, I get rolling here. If you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the comments and I'll watch for them. I promise. So anyways, scissors. Now, this one, like I said, I'm going to be dipping in and out here. Where'd it go? There it is. This started out as so much more. I know it looks pretty beat up, doesn't it? But this is what it was. Can you see that? It is a surgical dissection kit. It's only like $19. And I got it for a couple of reasons. It has, and when I say this is the only thing left, this is the only thing I can lay my hands on. Everything else is scattered around my room. It has tweezers, it has scissors, it has a little pokey thing. But this is the piece, this one right here, this is the piece I want to focus on. Let me go back. You know, you get those bird's nests that pull your fabric down into the needle plate. And the only way to get that out is to cut the thread, maybe even cut the fabric. The dissection kit, and I don't know if you can see this, comes with a scalpel, which is long enough to get up there and slice those threads away. Also comes with extra blades. Now, be very careful if you get one of these. Cindy, are you saying you have both the little scissors? Aren't those things amazing? Going back to the scalpel. And this is for you, Adam. If you guys get this, you be very, very careful because, you know, scalpels are made for cutting flesh, and we don't want that. We want to use it on threads. Anyways, I keep it here, and I keep it close to the machine. What else have we got? Oh, here's one. So going back to the applique, the scissors. Yep, I love those scissors. Going back to the applique, which is a technique that you can use for making patches. Those of us that have made patches know this. But at the end of it, you want to take a heat source and, you know, just clean up those edges a little bit. Just burn away those edges. Well, I used to use a long candle lighter because, you know, the little Bic lighters, and this one isn't going to work, but the little Bic lighters were too short and I'd wind up burning my hands at the lighter point. Yep. And then, you know, these things just run out of fuel so quick. Yes, I get them at the dollar store. Well, now it's a $1.25 store, but I get them at the dollar store. And I going back to messages, Jeff says they have the long-handled one. But again, you know, like I was saying, they run out of fuel so fast. I found something that doesn't. It allows me to give two-hand control of the patch as I'm working. And it'll stay lit as long as I have fuel. And my fuel is cheap. It is at least 90% isopropyl alcohol. You know, the stuff you get at the drugstore. This is called a spirit lamp. Not exactly sure how or why, but dentists use them. But I use it for my patches. Like I said, I can hold the patch over the edge and work it two-handed. I don't have to worry about the lighter running out of fuel. I don't have to worry about the short little Bic lighter. Spirit lamp. And it wasn't overly expensive. And you know, in the event of a power outage, it can make a great light source. Spirit lamps. Okay, so that was number 3. Number 4, canned air. Cindy, do I have a tutorial on patches? Would love to learn how to make them. You know, patches are like, and they've been around forever, but they are like such a craze right now. Um, I know that there are several places where you can learn how to make patches. I know that the embroidery nerd team has, Jeff, you'll have to clarify this for me. Have you guys put together your how-to on patches? Can you pop off a link if you have it there? And, there's a slight delay between what I say and what you guys respond. So we'll wait a moment to see if we get that. Matt is teaching a patch class at Applique Getaway. Yay! Okay, so where were we? Oh, yes. We talked about the surgical dissection kit. We talked about the spirit lamp. We were going on to compressed air. Cans of compressed air. We know what we use it for. We blow out that dust and lint everywhere. Now, somebody once told me instead of buying compressed air, buy an air compressor. So I did, but that thing was so loud. I hated having it in my workroom. So I gave it to my husband. He uses it, air up the tires, do whatever husbands do with air compressors. But that put me back to using canned air. So I started looking for another source. I've seen those electric blowers that clean out the keyboards. Tried one of those. Doesn't have enough power. So I went back to compressed air. Still looking because you never stop looking. And then I found this. This is a rechargeable, what does it call itself? Compressed air blower. I don't know. But look. Oh, my cat's over here. She didn't like that. But it recharges, has a USB port here. So it recharges. And let me see if I've got something here that we can. Of course, Kitty's going to hate this. Just to give you an idea. And like I said, the little keyboard ones, they just didn't have enough power. But look at this. This just plain piece of paper. Oop. And again, Kitty didn't like that. She left. This was a little pricier. Oh, did I lose you guys? Are you still there? Something happened to my monitor. Okay, you're still there. I'm back. Well, I probably never left, but I couldn't see me. So again, this thing is awesome. It recharges. No more empty cans, no more buying, a dozen cans at a time. And hubby even likes it. In his hobby, he cleans electronics, CB radios. So he comes up and he borrows it. I'm thinking about getting him one for Christmas, but don't tell. Let's see. Who's next? Oh, these guys you've seen before. But I'm going to mention them anyways. For those of you who are not familiar, I am a big advocate for not putting your needles, for putting your fingers near the needles while the machine is running. So I use these little 6-inch bamboo skewers. This is a brand new package. So, and they're not expensive. It's just a couple of dollars. But look, you can keep them by your machine. You lose one, so what? You just grab another one. What I like about using the skewers instead of something hard is that if you do hit the skewer with the needle, the skewer breaks, not the needle. Yeah, there may be some damage to the needle, but you'll figure that out as you're going along. But again, the skewer breaks, not the needle, which you know, can save a needle or two. Who knows? So that's one of them you guys always hear me talking about. Here's the other one. Disposable mascara brushes. I like the disposable mascara brushes. I know that our machines in your toolboxes, they all come with this big bulky toothbrush looking brush, which is great for the larger areas, but how do you get into those nooks and crannies? You use a smaller brush. And I like these because again, they're disposable. They bend so I can get around cracks and crooks and crevices. Yeah, see? So, mascara brushes. Um, if you're thrifty, or Jerly would say I have to be a little more green. Um, the thing is they're hard to clean. But if you have, old mascara, you could take it out, take the brush out of there, clean it with rubbing alcohol, make sure it's good and clean, make sure that the brushes are still in good shape, and you could use that. But again, you'll have to clean the lint and debris out of the brush often. There's a link on my links list, Cindy. The brushes, there's a link on the links list. And again, you don't have to buy what I buy. You don't have to get it where I get it. I used Amazon links for most of this because, it's convenient. So, what's next? Oh, this one's fun. This one's fun. You're doing little teeny tiny under 5 millimeter lettering, and you want it to have a nice clean stitch out. So you're going to use 60 weight thread with a 65 9 size needle. Okay, but do you really need to buy a cone of 60 weight thread? You're only going to need this color, once, maybe twice. So here's what I do. I found this spool pin adapter. Sits, you can screw it right to the spool pin. It holds still and it will hold 60 weight bobbins. Look at that. And when it comes off the bobbin and it spools up and threads to the needle, just like everything else does. And when you're stitching, even when you're running it fast, it does not bounce around like you would if you had to put it on the spool pin horizontally. Again, it's on my links list, and I keep this handy because when I have to use 60 weight thread, I don't want to buy a whole cone. I don't need a whole cone. What else have we got? Oh, okay, so we're almost done. We're almost done with all of the tools. Now, there are 3 tools that I saved for the very last because they're awesome. And they're not uncommon tools in the sense that you find something around the house and you make it work. They're tools that have been designed and developed specifically for the embroidery industry. Tool number 1. This is the first one I purchased. Where'd it go? There it is. Sorry about that. And I'm sure those of us here in this room probably know this tool. And if you haven't gotten one, I want to suggest that you do because it's awesome. This is the Needle Ease. The thing I like about this tool is I can get my fingers. When I have to change a needle, I can't get up in there to hold the needle in place. And then I have to fuss around to get it sitting right. And then, I have to do some more micro fussing to make sure that the eye is exactly positioned right. The Needle Ease takes care of all of that. It has a spring collar that pulls back. Inside here is a wedge that sits in the front groove of your needle and holds it firmly. It allows you to put it up into the machine, tighten it down. It also allows you to turn to adjust the degree, or depending on how your machine is set, you can leave it straight in. Needle Ease. This is a Sunfacer manufacturing product. You can also find it at needleease.com. I should have made a banner for that. It's just the word needle, EASE. Deanna, I love this thing. I actually have one for every machine because, you put something down and you don't remember where you put it. Well, now I have one at every machine. So, Needle Ease, Sunfacer. Again, it's on the links list at the top of the comments, or by now the bottom of the comments. Now, from the same company, oops, we have the donut. Okay? And it's called the donut, and I'm assuming it's called the donut because if you take the driver head out of it, it looks like a donut. It's a circle with a hole in the middle, just like a donut. What makes this thing so amazing is when you have to take the thread plate, the needle plate off of your machine so you can clean in there. Again, yes, you got a tool, but it's tall. It's tall and it makes it hard to get in there and you're trying to wedge it around. The donut is 1 inch tall, sits lower than your needles do, can get in there to the needle plate, open things up, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Yeah, you got it. And again, it's just very convenient. Again, this is something I have one of at each machine because I use it. I use it all the time. The donut. And they spell that DONUTT. But again, it's at Sunfacers, and the Sunfacer link is on the links list. And last but not least, I want to talk to you about the 3D Puff Pro tool. Yeah, it's just, look at this. Can you see that? It's a tool that will allow you to, when you're working with 3D puff, when you tear away the excess puff, sometimes you have little bits of puff that stick out from under the threads, or it's a narrow area and you can't quite get all the puff out. This tool is designed to have a point. It's more of a blunt point. I mean, it still pricks, but it's blunted so that you can poke the foam back in where it belongs, but not damage the fabric. The same with the flat spatula area. It's designed, it's got a bit of a narrow point on it, not a point, spatula, wedge, flat faced. but not so much that it's going to cut into your fabric like a scalpel would. But you can use it, and I keep blocking my face here. You can use it to clear away the excess puff that doesn't just naturally tear away. Now, this tool was designed specifically for 3D puff, and it works great for that. But I don't want you to discount any of the uses you might have. It can, God, I use it for so many other things, and not just at the embroidery machine. I've used it with my fish tanks. Any place that I need to get into a small area, this tool is amazing. Deanna says that they've been doing a lot of foam lately, and it is handy. Again, Deanna, you'll find it in the links list. I do believe it's available at Sunfacers also, but it does have its own link. It is the 3D Puff tool. I love this thing. So those are all the tools I have that I wanted to share with you. What do you use? What do you have in your embroidery room that you would never think to use in your embroidery room until you needed it, until you went looking for something to do a job that you needed done? Coffee, you know. Sorry about that. And while you're thinking on that, think about next week's show. What do you want to see? Do you want to do more tools? Do you want to talk about thread? Rayon thread versus polyester thread versus thread weights? Do you want to talk about, what do you want to talk about? Mike said he got here late. Sorry, Mike, I didn't even know you were here. Hello, Mike. Missed 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Well, number 1 was actually 2 items, but I have these little mini applique scissors that allow you to actually get in the hoop and trim away without contorting and doing all kinds of upside down acrobatics. That was number 1. And number two was the surgical kit. And I got it because it has all these amazing tools here. And this one right here, it has a scalpel. And I use that scalpel to cut away the fabric and thread nests that happen sometimes, when it pulls your thread into the needle plate. Pam, the patch class is going to be presented at Applique Getaway in Irving, Texas next month. If you're interested, I can get you information on Applique Getaway. If you can't make that, send me a message. Here, where'd it go? Send me a message at quick2stitch@gmail.com, and I'll find you some patch classes. How's that sound? Letty, hi. So good to see you guys. But Pam, we can get you set up with a patch class. Okay, so oops, let me get rid of that. You guys all know where I am. There we are. I'm still real new with this whole broadcast streaming thing. So we're back to questions. with the 8-second delay. Suggestions for next week's event, next week's show. Let's see. Mike says that he likes to use his full-size applique duckbill scissors for trimming backing. It's very fast and way harder to nip the fabric. Mike, I do that too with my larger scissors. Now, here's a trick that I don't know everybody is aware of. When you go to trim the backing from your project, do you lay it flat and hope that you don't nick the fabric? Or do you hold it up by the backing so that so gravity holds the fabric down, and then trim the backing? If you use the duckbill and you hold the backing, you can put the duckbill on one side so it doesn't trim the fabric, so it doesn't catch the fabric, and trim away your the backing from your project. Deanna, yes, heat gun. I have to tell you a story. Back a couple of years ago, I was at a trade show, and Bill Garvin was teaching a class. He does machine maintenance. He does, hats, 3D foam. And one of the things that he said, go to Harbor Freight and get yourself a cheap heat gun. Doesn't need to be anything big, just, on and off and hot and cold or hot and warm. Just, spend $20 and get a heat gun. Do not try to use your hair dryer. I had up until that point been always using my hair dryer. And I couldn't figure out why he didn't want me to use. Well, it turns out that a lot of hair dryers just don't have the wattage to get hot enough to work the foam, but I've always used like an 1875 watt hair dryer, so it was plenty hot. But I do now have a dedicated heat gun for my foam projects. And Mike's right. You pick up the whole thing by the backing and you trim around it. Keeps you from catching that fabric bit. And again, Mike, you're absolutely right. Bill is awesome. He's got great experience, lots of information. He's a great educator. He does a lot of educational videos for Gunold, GUNOLD.com. And of course, if you go to YouTube, you can look him up, Bill Garvin. Let's see if I can do that. Bill Garvin. If you look up Bill Garvin on YouTube, you can find his YouTube channel. Oh gosh, you guys are amazing. Thank you. All right, so we're about done. Let's see. What do we want to do next week? Do we want to do a field trip and go to the machine? I'll have to work on that one a little bit. Try to, it'll be, camera setting up, and you probably won't see me. What do we want to do? Let's see. Oh, Pamela. Pamela also uses the Clover's mini iron. It's got a little bitty ironing tip on it to do the applique. It helps, secure it to the fabric. Deanna, is that a yes to our field trip? We'll do a field trip to the machines. What do we want to do? We want to do hats or flats or machine maintenance. All right. Joe Rita, thank you so much. Oh, gotta be specific, Deanna. Hats, flats, machine maintenance. Which one do you want? Or are you saying yes to all of them? I only have about 30 minutes. So we'll look for an answer. Anybody else have any ideas? Anybody else have anything they want to talk about next week? Hats and or flats? I have 2 votes for hats. All right. We'll talk about hooping hats. We'll talk about we'll figure it out. We'll have hats. Next week, we will stitch a hat. Ta-da! All right. Catch it on the replay. Oh, happy anniversary, Deanna. You guys have a great time. And we'll see you guys all next week. We're going to do hats. Going to do a field trip. Going to have to figure out how to make this happen, but we can do it. So, with that, thanks, Mike. I try to keep it casual. Just try to keep it, just informative, a little education, a little fun. But that's what I try to do. Thanks, y'all.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.